University. Before this, he was a visiting professor in the University of Darussalam, Tanzania. And he studied theology and social sciences in Nijmegen and Nairobi. And during the first years of his academic career, he conducted research on folk beliefs and practices among an indigenous community in northwest Tanzania. And after the bombing of the US embassies in Nairobi and Darussalam, his focus shifted to Islam and Muslim-Christian relations. Since 10 years, he studies the relationship between a religious and environment in Indonesia. Most of his studies are conducted from the dialogical self-theory perspective using discourse analysis as a method. And most of his studies are conducted from the dialogical self-theory perspective using discourse and interdisciplinary. And okay, without waiting any longer, I will give you approximately 30 minutes to presentation, and after that I will elaborate, and then we have a Q&A session. Okay, are you ready, Pak Frans? Okay, yeah. Please, I will invite Pak Frans to deliver his speech under the title, Shaping the Green Future of Borneo, the Role of Islamic Higher Education. Please give applause to Pak Frans.
Yep. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Dear participants, good morning. Selamat pagi. Assalamualaikum. Dear participants, it is a great pleasure and an honor to be with you this morning and to share some reflections about this very important topic, shaping the future of Borneo, the role of Islamic higher education. And I thank the organizers for inviting me. I will focus my lecture on a green future for Borneo, because I think the future of Borneo, in fact, the future of our planet can only be green. If it is not green, there is no future for Borneo, there is no future for all of us. Next slide, please. The technical instructions, and I think all of you, because you are going to present papers, so I think you carefully read the technical instructions. They speak about the rich cultural heritage and the diverse ecosystems of Borneo as opportunities of Borneo. But it also speaks about the challenges, namely extremism and the need of religious moderation, environmental and climatological crisis, and the need of holistic development, integrating Islamic knowledge and Uinsi. This morning I saw all the ships on the river bringing coal. I don't know where the coal goes to, but I know where the coal comes from, namely from your beautiful island of Borneo. And of course, when we mine coal, well, it was said, oh, there's a lot of money going there. Big opportunity for Borneo. I think we can be clear about it. But it is also a challenge. Mining is a challenge because, as we know, it destructs our beautiful island, and it destructs our whole planet. And that is, on the one hand, we see economic growth, and we are happy to have our laptops, we are happy to have our phones, we are happy that we can fly in planes and cars. But we know that we destruct and we destroy our planet. So how do we deal with that? How do we deal with that in Islamic higher education? Indonesia has a population growth of 1.5%, which is quite high, an urbanization growth of 4.1% and economic growth of Indonesia, one of the Asian tigers. And of course, we in Europe are proud of that. We say, oh, Indonesia is doing very well. But it has also another side. Namely, you, we, all of us destroy our planet. It has serious side effects. 60% of Indonesia's population, 20 million people in Jakarta. Urbanization. We produce 200 tons of waste per day. 200 tons of waste per day, plastic, and so on. We don't have an adequate waste management system. Waste grew from 0.8 kilogram per capita to 2.1% of kilogram. Our rivers are polluted with microplastics, chemicals, metals, antibiotics, causing huge health problems. Indonesia already 80% of its rainforest through deforestation because we mine and because we have oil plantations. Now trees absorb carbon dioxide as they grow, converting it into oxygen. Thus, if you cut trees, our carbon absorbing capacity will decrease. Indonesia is the second bigger emitter of greenhouse gas and the second biggest contributor to plastic waste in the world. I can continue, I will not do that because we all know the problems. Happily, Indonesia also tries to solve those problems. Governmental, non-governmental and faith-based initiatives. Indonesia was the first oil-producing country to sign the Kyoto Protocol in 2004. It hosted the United Nations Climate Conference in Bali. It committed itself to control greenhouse gas at the meeting of the G20 leaders in 2009. It committed itself to reduce plastic waste by 70% in the year 2025. That's only 1 year to go. I'm not sure if this goal is being reached. And recently, Indonesia organized the World Water Forum. The Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Environment have been very instrumental in, for example, promoting environmental education in all Islamic universities. I saw on the advertisement that this university is a green university. It also promotes eco-pesantren. It also promotes eco-mosques, very good initiatives. There are numerous non-governmental organizations in Indonesia, local, global, secular, religious. I'm not going to mention them all. There are faith-based organizations, Nahdlatul Ulama, Muhammadiyah, Majelis Ulama Indonesia. We have fatwas on 16 fatwas on environmental issues. So these are all interesting and important developments. So here Islamic higher education can play a role. Next slide, please. Now, I heard in the introduction of this university, and many UINs focus on religious moderation. Religious moderation as a key concept. I try to reflect on that key concept from a green perspective. Now, when we talk about religious moderation, we normally think about the threat of extremism, radicalism, fundamentalism, jihadism, Salafism, and the need of moderation, avoiding extremes, taking the middle path, balancing between fully committed to your own faith and being fully open to the faith of others. For example, by religious education, very important. When we think about religious moderation in the context of holistic development, we think about another threat, namely the threat of extreme developmentalism. Environmental crisis, as is mentioned in the technical instructions, climate change, loss of biodiversity, deforestation, pollution of air, water, and land, and the need of moderation, balancing between ecology and economy, and the need of a green technology and a green theology. Now, if you think about those threats, religious extremism, how many people are involved? Of course, when there is a bomb attack in Jakarta, happily it doesn't happen that often anymore, people die, 300 people dies. It is on the world news, CNN. But how many people are involved? Very few. When we think about the threat of climate change, all of us are affected. Every day. We drink microplastics. You, all of us. So it is a threat. Maybe not immediately visible. It is not a bomb attack that you see and you can see it on the television. It is a slow killer of all of us. Now, when I think about religious moderation, I ask myself, is it the moderation making religion less extreme? That means religion is the object of moderation. Or is it religion making us more moderate? So is religion the subject of moderation? So what does the term religious moderation mean exactly? And I think from religious principles, from the challenge of Islamic theology, Islamic higher education can contribute to moderating, balancing between extreme developmentalism and the mythological challenges that we face, making Islam green. One of the issues that I ask myself when I hear and see scholars writing about eco-theology, eco-Islam, campus, eco-dawah, eco-jihad, eco-zakat, eco-sharia, eco-din, eco-mosque, and so on. Are we really promoting a green Islam? Or are we green-mashing Islam? I think if we just think about the recent discussion about the instruction about mining and the huge debates both within NU and Muhammadiyah about it, I think this is a real challenge, and I think in Islamic higher education we need to face that challenge. Next slide, please. In the technical instructions, I read about integrating Islamic teaching and contemporary knowledge. And when we think about Islam in higher education, very often we speak about integrated. How do we do that? When I ask that question, I come to another dimension of the debate, namely a strong focus on religious education and the need of balancing religious education and secular education. In my experience, I have been coming to Indonesia for the past 30 years, there has been a strong Islamization of the Indonesian society and a very strong focus on mono-religious education. But I think here again we have to balance religious principle and secular education. I think religious education, what I see in Indonesia, that very often Uins are a kind of a pesantren. So you continue a pesantren tradition in the university. I'm not sure if that is the right future for Islam in higher education. So how do we integrate secular education, science and religion? Of course, science and technology can make theology more grounded, can make theology more down to earth, can make theology more empirical. And science and technology can help to find solutions to our problems. Of course, from a theological